Here is a very common scenario. Backend team says, we'll fix it tomorrow. Your QA says, I need to test the UI today, give me the fix. And you are in the middle. You don't know what to do. But what if I tell you that you can still continue with your UI work even when your backend API is failing? Yes, it includes your production API. What if your backend team doesn't give you the API or the API changes? In the next 5 minutes, you're going to learn all of that. Hey, welcome to tapaScript. I'm Tapas, a software engineer with 20 plus years of real world experience in building and debugging production systems. On this channel, we go beyond tutorial. We master fundamentals, we fix real bugs, and we think like engineers. If you are someone who is serious about leveling up your dev career, just hit the subscribe. Today, we are going to learn a super cool feature from your Chrome browser's DevTools. It's called overrides. Using this feature, you can override any of the network calls response content, response headers. Not only that, you can go to the extent of overriding JavaScript, CSS, images, and many other stuff. Let me show you with a couple of examples. I have created a scenario for you. You have an application built in React and it is showing a bunch of cards for the product, and each of the card got the information about a product name, how much it cost, how much of it available in the stock. And imagine that all this data coming from making a server call. Let's open up the Chrome DevTools, making a right click and click on inspect, or you can use the F12 key as well. And here straight away I'm on the network tab. Coming over here, I'll refresh this page once so that I can see the request over here. And I have selected this XHR. It means that it is going to show me only the XHR request over here. Great. I'm seeing a request called edibles and it's a get request. If I click on it, it's going to give me more details about it. Now, this particular API could be anywhere. It could be on AWS, Azure, Render, anywhere. Now, you as a UI developer, front-end developer, accessing this API to get the response and rendering on the UI. You suddenly notice, oh, there is something wrong. I am seeing this banana spelling is wrong. Let's go ahead and check the response. Once I go ahead and check the response, oh, I see the response says BANANA. Oh, this is wrong. But my QA has to test it. And QA should not get stuck just because the banana is coming wrong from the server. What if I can give the correct banana to the QA so that QA can finish at least the UI testing? One scenario. Second scenario is I am getting all the stock information is like 200, 100, 190, everything is above 100. But if the stock goes below 100, I should show certain kind of message saying out of stock or something like that. Backend is not giving me that data. I don't have the data at all to test this thing out. Not only that, I should test it locally on my browser. Can I make it available with my QA so that they can also test it with this kind of scenarios? Let's see that. To do that, we'll be using a feature called overrides. Coming to the network tab, on any of the requests, just right click. After right clicking, you will find two options. One says override headers, another says override content. Right now we are talking about content, so click on override content. Once you click on override content, see this one at the top. It says select a folder to store override files and asking you to select a folder. Once you select a folder and give permission, Chrome will be able to save all your changes inside that folder. This gives immense power because this particular file will be saved inside a folder on your hard disk. So any point in time, you can share that file with your QA also so that they can also see the changes that you have made into this response. So let us first select a folder. I click on select folder. I got this dialog. So over here, I have created a folder called debug_devtools. I'm going to select this folder. Now DevTools is asking for a permission to edit this. Yes, allow. That's all. You're all set. Now what you are seeing from network tab, you just shifted to the sources tab with the same response that you were about to tweak, you were about to override. Now this is completely editable. What you do now, you fix this banana name first. So I made it BANANA, banana, and after that I will do a save. So let's do Control S and save this. Once you save it, you see your changes are still not reflecting. For that, you have to just refresh your browser. The moment you refresh, it is reflecting over here. Now the banana thing is fixed. Now if I go to the folder where I have saved this particular response changes, you can see it over here. This is the folder I selected, debug_devtools, then localhost 3000, what it is created because my API is running on localhost 3000. So that's the folder name is created. Inside that you have this edibles, that is the response. If I open this guy, edibles, open with text edit, here is the response, the edited response. And here you see the correct name, banana. Now, this particular file you can share with your QA. Your QA can put this file into any folder. Same way, they can inspect the network request. They can right click, say override, and then point to the file to see the changes that you have provided to them. So this is one way. Let's see one more advanced case. The another case that I told, like your API is now giving all the available stock more than 100. But I have a use case from my PM that if it goes below 100, in that case show like out of stock. Now I can go back to my backend team, API guy, say that, hey, can you give me some result, some response which looks less than 100? But that guy might say that, hey, I'm busy, I will do it later. Can you do it by yourself? Yes, you can do it by yourself, just by tweaking the quantity the way that you did it for the name. Make the quantity 50 and then save it and then refresh it, and you get it low stock immediately over here. And the beauty of it, again, this response is saved to the same file. You can again share that file or keep it in a shareable location so that your QA or other developers can pick up and they can continue start working. So even if you are stuck with a backend response, your backend team is not giving you, or something is broken in the production, you will get time to get that from your customer, but you have an access to the application. You can do lots such things to make your UI working with the right set of things that you are opting for. This is very, very powerful. So this way I have taught you how to override the content so that you can test out your UI without any dependency with your backend API team, backend team, your customer, or your production system. That's great. Let's go to the next version of it. Now, this one is my favorite because we are talking about CORS, cross origin resource sharing. What does it mean? It means that, at least in this case, I have an application which is having an API deployed somewhere, running on some domain, means some host and some port. I have the UI piece of it. It is running on some domain, means some host and some port. My backend is running on localhost 3002. It means a different domain. My front end is running on localhost 5173. It's a different domain. They are not coming from the same domain or the same origin. If you are not part of the same origin, the client cannot access the server resources directly unless you have provided some sort of setting in your server itself. Now, in this case, those kind of settings are not done. So when I'm going to fetch a user by clicking on this button, I get an error straight away saying that failed to fetch user. If I go to the Chrome debugger tool once again and go to the network tab, do this operation once more, I see this get fails, miserably fails, and the status directly says CORS. You see, it's a CORS error. How many times it would have happened to you that you wanted to access an API endpoint and you ended up getting this error, CORS error, cross origin resource sharing error? Now, if I mouse over on this, I'm not sure if you're able to see that in this video. It's very, very small. I don't have a way to kind of zoom in, but it says missing allow origin header. That is the message that's coming on the tooltip when I'm pointing over. It says missing allow origin header. So something to do with the header. Now, to fix this, one way is go to your backend developer or go to your customer, go to the person who is managing the server, request the person to do the server configuration where they will allow the origin header by doing certain configuration in the configuration file. But that might take longer time. And again, your QA is on top of your head, your manager is on top of your head, your PM is on top of your head, because they have to see how the UI may come out when the API availability is there. Now you can do that without any dependencies towards your backend or the API server. How can you do it? Same. Now in this case, you will be doing the overriding of header instead of overriding of content. So for that purpose, again, right click on this particular network request. Here you see override of header. Why don't you see override content enable? Because it doesn't give me any content this call. So override content is not enabled, but override header is enabled. Click on override header. Once you click on override header, you get to see this response header over here, right? And you see over there headers with a pink color circle over here. This pink color circle indicates that you are actually in the overriding mode and overriding something. Now, any of this header directly editable, you can edit them. You can edit any of these values, or you can add a new header. You can do it from here, or you can click on this particular link, which is going to take you over here, and here also you can add the overriding rules, whatever the ways it works for you. I like to do it from here itself. So let's go ahead and add some necessary headers to get rid of the error that we have just now seen. Your server must add a few response header. For example, access control allow origin with star as a value, access control allow method say get, and access control allow origin. What are those legitimate client that are allowed to make a request to the server? All these things you specify using the response header. Now I cannot go to the server and add those response header, right? But I can now override it. And that's why I'll click on this add header. Let us first add access control allow origin with a value of localhost 5173. It means that I'm saying if there is a request coming from localhost 5173, which is nothing but my this web application, please allow me. That's the first one. Press enter. Let's add one more. The HTTP method I'm interested in this case is the get, because we are just making a get call to the server from localhost 5173. So access control allow methods is get. And the last one is access control allow headers. The value is star. These three are enough. Once you're done, what you need to do next thing is just refresh this. Once you refreshed it, now try fetch user. But before that, I will just go and select this fetch/xhr so that I can see only this API request, not any other file or CSS file downloads. Click on fetch user. Done. Now I am getting the data from my server. If you see over here, it's sending me the response. No more course error at all. How beautiful it is. If you are facing a course error because you have to do certain configuration on the server side, you don't have to wait. Just do this, override, get your UI job done, deliver this one. Now, if you have noticed, like this particular API is running on localhost 3002. And if I go to my debug_devtools, you see over here, localhost 3002 has got created. Inside this, there is a file called .headers. You're not able to see because the file name starts with dot, hence it is hidden. If you go to your operating system's setting and say that I want to see all the hidden files, you will be able to see .headers over here. And inside that, all those headers that you have now written will be there. Now again, you can share that .headers file with your QA, with your co-developer, or keep it in a shared location. Ask them to point to that shared location from DevTools so that they all can get the common settings. How beautiful it is. I hope you like this. If so, please hit the like button. Please hype this video, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe. Let me teach you one more quick thing. Once you right click on this, you got like override headers, override contents, etc. Now it has got a content, so it's showing override content. You get to see show all overrides also. Click on the show all overrides. It's coming over here. Now here few important settings that can give you different level of productivity. For example, we have now applied the course related settings on /user endpoint, right? Now imagine you have multiple endpoints, but you have only added to the /user. If you want these three header to be added to all the endpoints instead of user, you can just say star. In that case, it will be applied to all. And then at some point of time, you might not want to continue with this. You can just right click and delete it, or you can just detach the overrides altogether. If you do so, in that case, when you want to do the override next time, this is going to ask you the folder information again. The last thing that I want to teach you is it's not only about the response content. It's not only about the response header. You can actually override any file like JavaScript file, CSS file, images, whatever it is. Just come to the source tab, right click and just do override content. If you have a source map file available for your JavaScript file or the equivalent, you will be able to do this overriding, and it works with the exactly same philosophy, my friend. I hope you found it helpful. If so, let me know. And don't forget to check out my other courses. I have one on debugging. I have one on 40 days of JavaScript. I have one on React design patterns. And apart from that, I've also started an initiative called Thinking Board, that board where I go ahead and teach you certain fundamentals in 2 minutes. All right, wait for my next video coming soon again.